Hello, students and viewers. This is once again Professor Dr. Ahmed on live YouTube video in order to discuss with my students the scene first of Dream on Monkey Mountain by Derek Walcott. This is included in the syllabi of Masters as well as that of the BS English. And I hope that this is going to help a lot to my students as well as to my viewers. If anyone is interested in this video, in this live stream, so let me show you where from the scene one begins, so that we can have a good start of that. Scene one, as the screen is showing to you. I have just marked the one with red line only to remember myself where I am, for example. And from here we shall be beginning. But first of all, I want to give a brief overview of what has happened in the past section. That was the introductory section. Let me remind you people that in the introductory section, there were many characters. Out of them, there was one macaque, and other was Mustique, and we still had some Suris and Tigri, and similarly we had Corporal Lestrade. And the introductory scene had started with the introduction of the jail or the prison in which Macaque has been arrested, Mustique has been arrested, and Macaque was not giving any information to Corporal because Corporal was acting just like a magistrate. He was interested in knowing from Macaque what had happened because of which he committed some crimes, and that's why he was in the jail. But Macaque was not ready to give him any type of answer. So in that way, we have the description that was going on in the jail, and people were talking to each other. Ultimately, a mock trial is held of Macaque in the same jail. Now, scene one is actually the scene which goes into reminiscent, into reminding the readers what had actually happened. It's a type of flashback showing the reader what had happened in the past, because of which Macaque was right into the jail. So this is the place from where everything starts, and we need to go with that. So that is why I am going to show you, first of all, the starting lines. If you look at that, the starting lines say, Macaque remains on the ground, the mask near him. We hear a cry far off, echoing Mustique. A little man with a limp, a jute bag over his shoulder, comes into the morning light around the hut, puffing with exhaustion. No, these are the introductory lines of scene one. And here we can see that it's not prison, it's not jail, it is the Monkey Mountain, the hut or the house or the place where Macaque is supposedly living, and he is lying on the ground and is having a type of mask around him, lying around him. He's not moving, while the writer says that there is an echoing of the sound of another person, and this person is Mustique, one of the friends of Macaque. We are told about Mustique that he is a little man with a limp. It means that he's got a problem in his legs, and he is not of very big height as well. Two characteristics have been told to us. And a jute bag over his shoulder. He's carrying a bag as well, comes into the morning light around the hut, puffing with exhaustion. He also seems to be not so very strong a man because he's puffing, or it can be because of the climbing of mountain, the upward area, because of which he's feeling exhausted. So this is the introduction of scene one, and that goes to remind us that we are not in the prison scene, we have come outside, and that is the pre-prison scene. I mean, it's going to be told what had happened actually in the background, because of which Macaque was right now in the jail. So that is the start, and let's see what most significant thing can be in this case. For example, here, if you see, the paragraph begins from the speech of Mustique, who says, Macaque, Macaque, wake up. Is me Mustique? You didn't hear me calling you from the throat of the gully. I bring a next carcass bag from Alessander Cafe. Today is market day, and time and tide wait for no man. I tie Berthelia to a gomia tree by the ravine. This is the first situation brought before us, that Mustique is calling Macaque. He's not calling right now. He says that he's been calling him from the very beginning when he started to climb up the mountain. Since from that time he has been calling him, but he got no reply. He says that we have to be ready because there is a market day, and they need to sell their coal, and so He's brought the bag of coal as well, and he also gives the information that he's got a donkey whose name is Berthilia. That donkey is also tied beneath, and so therefore they should go, they should move in order to sell their coal. So it goes to show that Macaque is also a coal seller, and same as the case was Mystique. And Mystique is apparently seems to be a very practical man because he needs money and he talks about the money. Macaque is not that a person, so that is why he is not that much active at this moment, and it's Mystique who's active in order to sell. So that is the sell the coal, let's say. So this is the start of the scene where Macaque is lying up to some extent asleep and is not paying any attention to the surroundings around him. And on the other hand, we have Mystique who's come in order to show that it's market day. So time and the place both have been indicated, and both the characters who are very poor characters, so shown to be very poor, and they are involved in the business of making coals and then selling coals, and they have a donkey as well, and this donkey's name Berthilia here has been taken. So this is the start. Let's see what further goes. In the next speech, Mystique again says something. Listen to him, which Berthilia, the donkey you and I buy from Felicine. Every Saturday is the same damn trouble to wake you. You have the coals ready. Spare me a little to light this fire. He helps Macaque into the hut. Aye, what happened? He stoops near him. Nigger. He rests the back of his hand on Macaque's forehead. No fever. No, Mystique knows Macaque for a long time, and that is why he remembers that Mystique remembers that this Macaque had been having certain fits of fever, certain times when he is in fever and his brain is not working very well. At that time, he talks to trainer. That's why at this moment also he says that the strange things are being talked about with Macaque. So that's why he comes forward, ignites the fire, and then he goes to the forehead of Macaque and tries to see whether he was still in fever. And he finds that no fever is there. So he says that why then he is inactive? Why then, or even after thinking that Saturday time is there and market day is there, he says every Saturday market day is there, and this person, Macaque, is not doing good at that time. So that's why he puts him a question, are you in fever? As it had been the past time as well. So in this way, the concern of Mystique for Macaque is quite visible, that he wants to see him quite active. With his companion, he wants to take him to that place, marketplace, in order to sell their coal. No sweat, he says, no fever is there, no sweat is there. What has happened this time? That Macaque is talking in the wrong ways, talking different things which are not good for him, which are non-practical kind of thing. What is that? He puts him a question. So this is the development, the scene. Macaque says, okay, with me the problem is that I going mad, Mystique. Macaque himself realizes that he's going mad. Now, what is this madness? What has happened because of which Macaque is telling his friend that he's mad? No, this is a big issue, that no mad person ever accepts that he's mad. He would say all other people are mad. He is not mad. But Macaque is here saying that he is himself mad. He tells to his friend, shares with him because something strange is there. Let us see, how does he explain? He says, go in tomorrow, today's market day, we have 3 bags at 3 and 6 a bag, making 10 shilling and 6 pence for the week. And you're going mad, you have coffee. So Mystique says that it's a market day, there's no need to become mad at all. He says that we have many bags of coal and we will be able to sell them, as a result we will get some money. And this is the way we can get money. There is no other way. And he says and puts a question, you have gone mad on such an occasion when money is possible? And then he says, perhaps you need a cup of coffee, and that's why he goes perhaps forward in order to prepare coffee for him. And both of them begin taking coffee, and that's why Mystique says again, true, drunk, soaking drunk with this twist food God gave me, sleeping anywhere. And one morning when you come to market, you find me in the gutter and you pick me up like a wet fly in the dust, and we establish in this charcoal business. You cut, burn, and so on, and I sell until we make enough to buy the donkey. Stretches the coffee. He passes the cup. You was the only one to make me believe a breakfoot nigger could go somewhere in this life. So 4 years gone, last August, drink, he pauses, drink, but after that is whipped down the mountain. So this is the history of Mystique, what type of relation he enjoys with Macaque, according to him. I'm sorry, he was a person who had a broken foot, and as a result was unable to walk very well, and so it was difficult for him to earn money. He says that he started to earn money only because of Macaque, because Macaque taught him the way the charcoal is to be prepared, the way it is to be sold, and as a result, they continue to earn money. And ultimately, they were able to buy a donkey as well. He says that in this way, He is duty bound. He is obliged to Macaque that this was the possibility for him in order to start earning, and that's why the friendship continued. And so even today, he takes care of Macaque. So what is the reply of Macaque here? Here I have green lines again. Rising this morning early, the moon still up. I went to pack the coal in the pit down the mountain. I will tell you, make a white mist in the mind, make that mist hang like cloth from the dress of a woman, or prickles on branches, make it rise from the earth like the breath of the dead on resurrection morning. And I walking through it on my way to my charcoal pit on the mountain, make the web of the spider by heavy with diamonds, and when my hand brush it, let the chain break. I remember in my mind the seagull sighing, sighing wood before the woodcutter, the drum of the bullfrog, the blackbird flute, and this old man walking. Ugly as sin in the confusion of vapor till I feel I was God's self walking through the cloud in the heaven of my mind. Then I hear the song, not the bullfrog drum, not the whistling of parrots as I brush through the branches, shaking the dew, a man swimming through smoke, and the bandage of fog uppeeling my eyes as I reach to the spot. I see this woman singing, and my feet grow roots I could move no more. A million silver needles prickle my blood like a rain of small fishes. The snakes in my hair speak to one another. The smoke mouth open. I behold this woman, the loveliest thing I see on the earth, floating towards me, just like the moon walking along her own road. Then, as I start to move, she calls out my name, my real name, a name I do not use. Come here. She say, come, don't be afraid. So I go up to her, one step by one step. She make me sit down and start to talk to me. So here is the dream that Macaque is telling. In his dream, he's gone to the pit where he prepares the coal. And in order to fetch that coal, he says that he wanted to bring that coal. But before he could bring, he felt a type of mist and he felt a type of presence or the music. And that music, he says, was not the music created by any animal, say the frog, say the bird, but it was the music being created by some very heavenly being. And according to him, this heavenly being was a woman. She was appearing very beautiful. She was appearing, godlike, and she was appearing a different creature. And she said to Macaque that she wanted to meet him. She wanted to talk to him. So Macaque should not be afraid. Macaque should go forward in order to meet her. Now, this is the entry of a deity type of creature, of a type of creature which is definitely Macaque's vision, but he is thinking in the sense that possibly there is some godlike creature which has come. And this goes to talk about the cultures, like Indian culture, like African culture, where spirits are very much important. And these spirits definitely come in the dreams of the people, or people invent the dreams in order to say that the creatures are there, the holy creatures are there, or the supernatural creatures are there. They have been playing this type of role. These supernatural creatures enter into the dreams of the people, and they always take care or the sport of these visions of the supernatural creatures. Because in such cultures, one may not be able to convince the people if one is talking, but if some supernatural proof is given that this thing has come, some spirits have come, some deity has come, some goddess has come, the people will be influenced in that way. There will be a clearer proof of these things that these are true. So, like if you remember Chinua Achebe's novel "Things Fall Apart," there also the coming and going of the spirits were very much important. So, if in African culture, this type of vision is very much important. That's why Walcott is also using this type of image in order to show that the dream could be possibly a dream. At least it could create a type of confusion for the minds of the people that maybe someone has dreamt something and special about that. So the reflection of African culture and the thinking of the African people, or how would they wish for something beautiful in their life as it was not available to them, but they would wish for. This is the indication that has been made. And let us see what further dialogue continues between this creature, this vision, this dream which Macaque is having. Let's see what Macaque further says. Let's go down and see what are the things which are talked about by this creature. And so Macaque says, Mystique was some question. Here, a white woman or a diabolist, is it possible that here a white woman can come? Is it a kind of spirit which has come? Macaque says, we spend all night here. Look, I make something for she to eat. We sit down by the same fire. And Mystique, she says something I will never forget. She says, I should not live so anymore. Here is in the forest, frightened of the people because I think I ugly. She said that I come from the family of lions and kings. So that's a reminder to Macaque from his own vision that he's not a common type of person. Though he thinks that he's ugly, but he comes from the family of African people who were known as the lions or the kings. So this is what comes in the mind of Macaque, and it's 100% very close to the post-colonial theory, because in post-colonial theory also, the subject who is colonized would like to think in high terms about himself. He would not think that he's a slave. He would like to think in high terms in order to think best of himself so that he can create courage or love for his nation in order to fight back with the white man or the occupier or the colonizer. So same is the case here, that Macaque is having this type of vision, this is wish, this is hidden wish that he should be knowing what he actually was not a slave at all. He was a person who could be the king or who was the king. So this heritage possibly may make him feel proud of himself. And that's what this brings this text close to the post-colonial theory. And so in that way, Macaque continues to describe his dream. And Mistake says to him, you remember one morning I come up and from the time of break bush, I see you by the side of the hut? He says. So Mistake is repeating that you have been doing such things. You have been talking such things in the past as well. He says in the past time also you talked about such things. He reminds him that in the past time also you talked about the white lady. And once again, you are talking about the white lady. And Mystique is not ready to accept that white lady could be there. So he says, the mystery black people have to see in this life. Rummaging around, blowing out the fire, putting away the cups. Him and his damned fits. A man not only was supposed to catch his arse in the daytime, but he have to write nightmares too. Now what the hell are you looking for? So he says that it's not the kind of situation that the black, ugly Africans, as they say, I don't say, they can become rich, they can have such dreams, they can entertain such white woman's dream. It's not possible at all. It is only the kind of nightmare which one is having. So Mystique is not ready to accept the vision of Macaque is real, but Macaque continues to do so. But on the other hand, Mystique is very much terrified person, very much weak-minded person, that as soon as he looks at a spider, he is in pain and he runs away from, in a mad rush, he runs away because of the presence of some spiders. So that is why he also has a different psychology, that he's afraid of the things when he is in his waking position, and Macaque is afraid of the things when he is in his dreamy position. So both the characters are having the same visions, but Mystique is having dreadful visions, but Macaque is having very beautiful visions. For example, spider is there in the eggs, and Mystique is very afraid of that. So that was in the past that has been happening about the psychology of Mystique. Let's see, go and feel what Macaque continues with that. Macaque says, saddle my horse. If you love me, Mystique, and cut a sharp bamboo for me and put me on that horse. For Macaque will ride to the edge of the world. Macaque will walk like he used to in Africa when his name was not Lund. This is the paragraph that goes to show how much Macaque, as a colonized subject, wishes to change the situation in which he is. So he remembers his ancestors and thinks that he would also like to walk like his ancestors. While riding the horses, he will be calling himself lion and move about in Africa. Now, Africa which has been lost to him. Africa which is colonized now. He thinks of, he dreams of freeing this Africa. And that's why he goes into a vision once again and says, saddle my horse. No, it doesn't have a horse. It is the donkey which they have. And Mystique clarifies that, okay, it's the donkey which we can prepare. It's not the horse at all. So that goes to show it is really the dream, it's really the vision, it's really the wish of a colonized person, that is Macaque. And though in that way, Macaque's wish comes forward, he is ordering in that way, and this is the condition which makes Mystique think that possibly Macaque has gone mad as well. So Mystique says, is the stupidest thing I ever see two jackasses and one donkey? Macaque turned lion, so let him pass donkey gone mad on Pangola grass. Ha 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 he. A man, not a man without misery down the mountain. So Mystique is cutting joke at him by saying, okay, we are the two men and one donkey is there. Oh, there's no horse at all, there's no lion at all. And this thinking is laughed at by Mystique. Now, this is the second type of colonized people, who are colonized also, but they are convinced that they cannot change the master, they cannot fight with the master. So such desires, such dreams are according to them to be very ugly, to be very harsh, and that's why Mystique is there to condemn Macaque for thinking such a kind of thing. He's not encouraging Macaque at all. So in that way, we can divide the people into two, where in one way or the other, the people are divided. Some are there to get the wishes complete. Some are there to not to do any kind of thing. As Gramsci would say that we become colonized, we become hegemonized with the superior culture of the white man. The same thing is happening in the scene. So at the end of the scene is like that here. Donkey is braying at the end. So Donkey is also, showing that these things are dreams, cannot happen at all. But macaque is still willing to do that. So in this way, two types of colonized people can be there. One are the people who will remember their past and they would like to change their present because they would think highly about their past. And other are the people like Mustique. They are thinking and entering into the reality most of the time. And this is the reality they would like to face, and they would like to make the things as they are, and they would accept everything like that. So in this way, the scene ends. Next time, we shall be talking and discussing about the next scene. I hope that some of the people have enjoyed it a lot, and some of the people have understood that there are two characters and they represent two types of people. One are the people who vision and dream about their future. They want independence from the white man, and this type of person is represented by macaque. And on the other hand, we have Mustique type of people who would cut joke at these things and would accept the thing which is forced on them. They would accept that and they would say, no, it's not possible to change at all. So with this, we are closing today, and hopefully we shall be meeting for another explanation about scene 2 next time. So students, do make notes about your lecture you have attended, what you have seen here. Do consider the paragraphs, repeat again. This video will be available on YouTube. So God bless you all. Hopefully we shall be meeting and seeing once again in some next video. And if you like, if you understand, do not fail to subscribe to my channel or to hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much. This is all about, and bye-bye. Stay safe, stay at home.